The following hour is a real hour of power. This is Let's Jess Talk Radio. Let's Jess Talk Radio. With Jesse from JessTalk.com and Lisa from LisaListens.com. If you're lost, stuck, or challenged in life matters, this hour's for you. The phone lines are open at 702-731-1230. That's 702-731-1230 or toll free. 1-866-820-5528. That's 1-866-820-KLAV. Now let's bring on the host. Here's Jesse and Lisa.
Well, hello out there, listeners. We have got a program for you this morning that is going to be infectious. I know it's going to be. This is definitely, no doubt, the Let's Just Talk Radio with Lisa Listen supporting. Now, Lisa Listen will be listening from afar this time because Lisa is out on a special assignment. And she is not in the studio, but I guarantee you the girl is listening. I know. And we're going to actually do laser coaching moments and some success coaching talk along with Life Matters. I am joined in the studio today by the extraordinary co-host that has been here before. You've heard him before. He is actually a late night TV host. He does special assignments. He does some comedy stuff. He does some funny. He is funny. And it is Will Edwards. Will Edwards, welcome back.
Hey, thank you. Oh, so nice.
Will, are you ready to light this up?
Yes, I am.
You know,
I want the viewers to know this is all your fault.
You said that, and you're going to have to explain that. Now, don't explain it now because because it is funny how you laid that out.
We'll get back to that.
And it won't be long either. It won't be long. So what I want to actually do is I want to know, before our listeners get on the line for the whole laser coaching segment, we're going to offer a call-in period for the lion's share of the show. Yeah. But before we open that up, I want to know about Will. What's going on in Will world?
Oh, wow.
What are you doing? What are you up to?
What's going on? Well, we're still in season 5 of the Will Edwards Show.
Okay.
Which is really, really good.
Yes, let's give that a round of applause. Good job.
Thank you so much.
That is not easy, sir.
No, it is not.
That's hard. That's, as they say in my neighborhood, that's hard wake.
Exactly.
Do you know what wake is?
I do know what it is.
How do you spell wake?
You spell... Don't get me started.
Don't you get me started. Let's get it started. I wish I had that song ready for you.
Man, that would have been good. But, I'm doing that, and I'm hosting a We Funny Comedy Show.
Okay.
It looks like we're doing it every second Friday downtown Las Vegas in the Scullery, which is in the Ogden building, Ogden and 6th. So we bring folks in, and we have 4 great comics that we feature.
Very nice.
Local comics, and then we do a musical guest. So it's just a lot of fun.
I've been to the show, and I'm not just saying this because you're a co-host. I'm telling you, it was really good.
It's a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was funny. It was interesting. You didn't have one stale comedian on the stage.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And you did a darn good job yourself.
Well, thank you so much. I'm just getting my feet wet in it.
You say that, but you are a hard-working man. You were up there, what I call making it funky.
I'm working on it.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I appreciate that because I'm working on it. It's not easy.
You are working on it because you're the hardest working man that I know. You're the hardest working man in show business, and you were making it funky. And here's a tribute to you. Check this out. Check this out. Here it comes. Bring it.
Here it comes.
It's coming. Do it.
Here it comes.
Play it. Where's the engineer? Where's the song? There it is.
It's got to be funky. 1, 2, 3, make it funky.
Who's that?
Oh.
Yeah.
I got to make it funky.
Nice.
What's the never I play, Bobby? That's how we said it.
Yeah, I love it.
Tell me, ain't it? Make it funky. No, it is.
That's the hardest working man in show business.
That is. It's true.
And that's what you remind me of.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm working on it, man. We got a lot of stuff happening right now.
We really do.
A lot of stuff in the works, a lot of stuff going on. Some stuff I'll talk about, some stuff I won't.
Okay, fair enough. I get that. And so you'll make that fair game. But you really do a wonderful job, and you are extremely hardworking, and you have great intention. Whenever I've come to any one of your venues or events, I've always felt I could see the professionalism and I can see the intention, and you always make it work.
Thank you.
So-
I have to give a shout out to the people I work with and the people I team up with, because I have different partners. So those guys make it easy for me.
They do. And let me tell you really quick what we're up to, and we're going to open up the lines for some laser coaching stuff.
Sure.
We'll backtrack on this. We just got back from Whistler, as I mentioned. I believe I mentioned that last time. Vancouver, Canada, working with YPO Quebec.
Oh, okay.
It was an extraordinary speaking engagement, and we were fortunate to get out of there with a perfect score of 5s rated by the audience.
Nice.
All of them. Yeah, it was really, really good.
That's exciting.
And some continued business followed after that.
Well done, sir.
Yes, thank you. I feel good about that.
Well done.
Thank you. And then we're looking forward to our next big speaking gig, which is going to be the Men of Business. I'm going to be the featured keynote speaker for Danny Vegas on Tuesday,
Yes.
February 24th.
Yes.
At 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get your tickets for that.
Get
It's at Sienna Italian Restaurant.
Get your tickets.
And where you get the tickets, you can call 702-491-6237. That's 702-491-6237, or Danny at DannyVegasLive.com. Get the tickets. We're going to turn that one up.
No, it's going to be great. They're gonna eat, so they're gonna get fed physically, but then you're gonna go in and
I'm
you're
going
gonna
to
feed
nourish
them, and you're gonna nourish them.
Yeah, the power of
Yes,
words.
love it.
Come on, you know I got to bring it.
I know.
All right, then.
And you will. There's no question about that.
And I know this.
There's no question.
Well, check this out. We've got a call on the line. We're going to explain more about laser coaching moments, but first we're going to do it by example.
Sure.
I believe Bruno's on the line. Bruno, are you there with us?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right. You familiar with this laser coaching program, Bruno?
Yes, sir, I listen every Friday.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you, Bruno.
Well,
We appreciate
we
that.
very much appreciate it. You have a laser coaching moment for us.
Yes, sir. Some of us take a while to get things. I think I've heard you say sometimes it takes 3 times for it to get to sink in, and I guess I'm one of those people. I've always had an issue with reading.
Okay.
Finding out later in life why I did, form of dyslexia. But you've always said that, as I've listened to you, that you're the same person unless you read more, and, well, even old dogs can learn new tricks. So I need a direction on how to get me back into reading.
Awesome. That's a really good one. Reading can be difficult if you didn't have dyslexia. If you just because it takes time. You really have to get still. You have to be present, because if you're reading because you're supposed to, or it's on assignment, or you told yourself you would, but you're not present, you're not going to retain anything that you read.
Correct.
You'll read a whole chapter and okay, now, well, what did I read? So that can be difficult even under the best of circumstances. But if you are challenged with something like dyslexia, that's going to take it up exponentially in terms of the difficulty.
Right.
So what I'm going to recommend for you, Bruno, is a reading style that I very much favor for those people that are on the run, for those people that are looking to get what I call a double back or triple back. You get a 2-for-1. Now, there's some brain science out there, Bruce, that says that really it's best to do only one thing at a time. And I get that to a degree, so I'm not going to dispute that. But in our world today, everyone's so super busy, it's very difficult time-wise. So while you're doing your workout, while you're doing your honeydews, while you're doing your chores, while you're doing your tasks around the house or around your life that you've done a gazillion times, you can do them in your sleep, be good if you could take in reading
While you're doing
Audible, like on books on CDs, or there's a program that I like called audible.com. You can download the app right to your smartphone, no matter what smartphone you have, whether it's an iPhone or Samsung, it doesn't matter. You can download it right to your phone. It's called audible.com, and it has all the major book titles, the new releases, the old releases, the best, the classics, and you can listen to this while you're doing not meaningless tasks that are easy for you to do, like folding the clothes or doing whatever tasks that are mindless, easy for you to do. You can actually listen to the book being read to you. What are your thoughts?
Okay. No, I like that. And what do you do on when you go on? What is it, like a monthly fee, or do you buy a book?
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good question. What it is, if you go on, audible.com will allow you to pay $14.95 per month, and they'll give you 1 credit for every $14.95 that you spend. Now, there are books on there as low as $5.95, $10.95, and as much as $34, $36, $44.95. And typically, one credit will cover even the books that are more expensive. So what I do is the books that are under $10, I just pay cash. The books that are in the $25 range and up, then I use my credits for that, and I just stack my credits because that way I get a better use. And the cool thing with this is it goes across platforms. So once you're on Audible.com, you can have it loaded on your iPhone or your Samsung, and you can also have it on your laptop. You can have it on some sort of like an iPad. And if you're listening on all three devices, it'll remember where you last stopped listening and say, do you want to pick up where you last, or do you want to start over on this device? It's really, really cool. Plus, it lets you put bookmarks. You stop it, you put a bookmark, you put a note there. And what I do is once I read a whole book, I come back and I take a break, and I come back and I read just the book notes. So it's an electronic way of taking notes in the book.
I think so. I think I too, Bruno, in terms of reading, I should definitely be reading more, and I know that. But what I notice for myself is when I really want to know something,
right,
or I'm really, really going through something, and someone says, "Oh, I read this book, you should read it," then I have more of a tendency to read it.
Yes, because of that strong recommendation.
Exactly.
And Bruno,
and I want to know.
That's a very good point. That desire is strong. So what I'd like to work with you, we won't be able to do it on the call, but sometime after the call, I would like to have you call into our office line at 702-541-6992, and I want to discuss exactly what Will Edwards just said, because I want to center it in on what's going on with you, what you're interested in, because I actually read about 8 to 9 books per month.
That's phenomenal.
And with that said, I keep a book reading list, and I keep a rating with that. So in an instant, from just listening to you for maybe 3 to 4 minutes, I can jump on my book reading coding, and I can pick. I won't pick more than one, but I could pick more than one. I want to pick one book that I know will resonate with what you want to know, learn, develop, or grow. Just exactly what Will said. Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, Bruno, you'll go from being a non-reader or someone like you say with dyslexia, kind of somewhat intimidated by the whole process,
or someone like me,
or someone like Will who just ran out of time. You're going to become an avid reader. I guarantee you, from this position forward, I'd like to check back with you in 6 months. I guarantee you'll be 2 to 3 books per month that you're reading. How's that leave you feeling?
No, that sounds great, because growing up, like you said, it's something you had to read. Well, I was one of those people that had to read it 3 or 4 times to comprehend what I had just read. And of course, doing that just never basically took the fun out.
Reading is going to become fun again, because now you can hear the word, which you have no problem doing. They read the book as though you're reading it yourself. And typically the best authors get professional people to read it. Some of us, like I read my own book, but I did audition for the part. I gave myself 1 track. If I didn't get it in the first CD and I tested it, then I was going to hire a professional speaker to come in. And you really, some books, Malcolm Gladwell is one. He's an extraordinary author, and please, I hope he doesn't listen to my show, because Malcolm, in my opinion, he would be best to have someone else read his books. He's a harder guy to listen to, but he's absolutely brilliant and has great books like Outlier and Tipping Point and Blink, and they're incredible books. And I built a business around his books, but I can take Malcolm in 20-minute spots, and I got to take a break. So does that help you, Bruno?
It does. And the last book I actually listened to was your book.
Nice.
I'm into self-improvement. That's just something that I learned from.
Nice.
I've never been one to want to read about a story. To me, I'm really going to read something that's going to help me.
It's great.
Get better.
Well, you know what? That's what. Watch what happens with this new process. Now you're gonna. And by the way, whenever you're an avid reader, and someone finds that out, they don't say, "Well, now how do you read?" Like there's no perfect way to read.
Right.
If you're taking in the intel and you're retaining the intel, that's really what's important. They say it like this. In fact, I believe it was Edmund Burke that said this: reading without reflection is like eating without digestion.
Okay.
So you want to read it, and then you want to reflect it. So
Okay.
Nice.
thanks.
Well, thank you.
We appreciate you calling in, Bruno. That was a very, very awesome point. I think that's going to help a lot of people out there that's listening.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. I'll talk to you
All
soon
right.
then.
Have a super day.
Thank you.
Bye now. That was really good,
That's
didn't you
good.
think?
Yeah,
There's a
well, I
lot
mean-
of people that want to read, but they think they don't have the time to do it because they don't know that there are other techniques and other ways to do this.
It's true. I have a very good friend. He's a musician in town. His name is Daniel Park, and he is always beating me to read. He's like,
Right.
dude, you have to read more. You just really have to read more. And I think it's just finding that thing that you really want to do, that you want to improve. Maybe it's you want to improve on something in your
Right,
life,
right.
or you just love sci-fi, or
Sometimes
whatever.
you want to learn something.
Exactly.
My mother, when my mother was alive, she was a compulsive gambler,
Mm-hmm.
and I could not understand. She's highly intelligent. I could not understand how someone that's highly intelligent and understands that my father said the reason why he divorced my mother was because she wouldn't quit gambling. I mean, there were other circumstances and issues.
Right.
There's always two sides to a story.
Right.
But that's what he told her.
Huh.
My mother loved her kids. She loved her husband. She loved my father to the day she passed, even after they had been divorced, 38 years or so.
Wow.
And I thought, how can a person so intelligent with a habit like that, why didn't she just quit?
Right.
Well, I no one could help me with that. So I did some research to figure out. I discovered this book called The Craving Brain by Dr. Ronald Rudin.
Wow.
And The Craving Brain explains the biology, the science behind what causes addiction
Interesting.
and addictive behavior.
Wow.
Now, I could go into a whole program. I won't because obviously I'll get excited about it and we'll take up too much mass with this. But it's the dopamine and serotonin, these neuromodulators, or more, but these main neuromodulators navigate the landscape. The dopamine is the go and get it. Go and get the food for survival. Go
Right.
and get the sex for procreation.
Right.
Go and get a job or build a business so that you can be protected by the predators. That's dopamine saying to go get that.
Right.
The serotonin is the I got it. Well, addictive behavior is when dopamine kicks in and serotonin doesn't
does
show
not.
up and says, I got it. So they keep going. They
just
think
keep-
if they don't gamble that last $5, they're going to die.
Wow.
If they don't eat that next loaf of bread, they're going to pass out. They're
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
die. That's what the mind is thinking.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
I learned more about my mother and Dr. Ronald Rudin's
Reading that book.
Craving Brain
Wow.
than 40 years of life.
That's phenomenal.
What do you think of that?
That's
How does that
phenomenal.
leave you feeling?
That's phenomenal.
That's just a story.
Yeah. That's great.
So well, let's talk about we had a conversation. We're going to get into some more laser coaching, but we had a conversation I think was fascinating when we were in the green room getting ready to come on board.
Well, just so everybody knows, we always have these conversations because Jesse walks into the green room and there's always a question, and I don't even know where. I don't know if he's driving and he's like, I think I'm going to ask Will Edwards this question. No, wait, I'm going to ask him this question. No. And he walks in, we greet each other as normal, and then he goes into it.
But you know what? He doesn't know that he's doing that. He is just being himself. That is who he is. I'm going to tell you, like the African driver told me when I was in New York City once, and I wanted to go to Times Square, and we were staying at the address of the Renaissance. The address was 2 Times Square, and I get in the car, and the African says, "Where can I take you?" And I said, "To Times Square." "Yes, where is it?" I said, "It's 2 Times Square." "Yes, I will take you there. Where is it?" I said, "It is 2 Times Square." Then he says to me, "Will, I cannot take you there if you do not tell me where it is." I said, "Just anywhere near Times Square."
just drop
He
me off.
couldn't get that it was the number 2
yeah.
Times Square.
Love it.
So that's how I am.
Love it.
So with that being said, I do want to finish this conversation. We
will.
have one caller. I want to come back to this, Will.
Yes.
We're going to interrupt. This is really fun stuff.
It is fun.
So I want to come back to this question.
And it's a good one.
Oh, this is so cool.
It's a good one.
We've got a caller on the line. Joanna, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Talk to me about the laser coaching. Are you familiar with laser coaching, Joanna?
Not necessarily that much. I was hoping you could expand on it a little bit more for me as well.
Real quickly. Typically in what we call our standard coaching or success coaching programs, we say that we partner with others to help improve the quality of their lives in a global way. We create a great partnership between ourselves and that other person, someone like you. And we do that because we really, really... It's about leaving things better than you found them. It really is. It's about helping you find what matters most to you, and it's about taking. Basically, at the end of the day, John, we're passionate about advancing human performance and pioneering new ways of being in human consciousness. And we do that through the coaching process, and we create a safe place for you to come and tell the truth. Now, in laser coaching, we do that same thing, only it's a lot faster. You have a matter, a circumstance, a challenge, an issue, and you bring it to us and basically offer it up for us to coach you through the process.
Well, I have a question then about the human consciousness, because I deal with the public on a very regular basis.
Okay.
And a lot of times very challenging people I can deal with. And I have a problem with my facial expressions and how I can possibly my words are coming out just fine, and I deal with them in a very professional manner, word-wise. But sometimes I don't realize that my facial expressions are coming across not in a very pleasant way.
Right.
I was just wondering if there's a quick way you can tell me how I can try and control that, because, like I said, it's not consciously that I'm trying to do it.
I get it. So, in other words, there are two messages being sent. The polite profile of which is company policy to treat customers well and all that sort of stuff, and be courteous even if they're not. So your dialogue is saying that, but your face is telling them how you really feel. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Got it. So. I'm going to your best solution, and Will is holding back a laugh over here because he knows that's tough. But and this is a tough one, so thanks for bringing this to us. We like the hard ones. We're not afraid of those. My best recommendation, and from a coaching perspective, is this: you cannot see yourself, and especially when you're in the middle of it, right?
Right.
So I want you to invoke the power of three. The power of three. I want you to pick 3 accountability partners unrelated to one another. And I want you to enlist their support in helping you get your face mechanics under control. So you're going to tell them exactly what you told me, and you're going to say, I want you to catch me when you see me expressing something where my words are saying something different, so I can get in touch with that.
Okay.
So they're going to catch you when you're being really, really polite, but you have another issue going on, and your face is really telling more of the story than your words anyway. In that particular case. So these accountability partners are going to help you catch that, and when they catch you with that, you're going to redirect. You're going to say, let me tell the truth about how I feel on this, which is going to let you really express who you are, how you are, no matter what that expression is, and likely reframe it where you can still be 100% natural in your real feeling about it, and let your words and your facial expression now catch up with one another. What do you think of that?
I think that sounds wonderful. I do need somebody to kind of help me with the accountability. They have brought it to my attention before. They said your words were expressing to that guest exactly, politeness and what you wanted to convey, but your facial expressions were saying you were completely annoyed.
Well, exactly. But see, before, now what you're doing, you're going to enlist their help in you getting your arms around what to do about it. You know the phenomenon is happening. You've had someone say that to you, but now you're going to have these 3 people that you get an opportunity. I'd pick someone at work because you spend at least 8 hours at work.
Right, every day.
I would pick if you have a husband or a boyfriend or a fiance, I'd pick that person.
Nice.
Because you're going to spend a lot of time with them, and then I'd pick someone that you're enrolled in each other's lives, but maybe not as frequently as a job or as a loved one. Yeah. I would pick those three distinct places. Now you got it at home, you got it at work, and then you have it on that intermittent basis. And I'd be willing to bet you, Joanna, that all 3 of them will tell you the same thing that they see about you.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think, Will?
What if Joanna, and I'm referring, I'm totally referring to you, Jesse, on this one. But what if Joanna put in with those 3 people just a word,
I like
word.
it. I love it. A safe word
right.
that maybe it's violet, or maybe it's
red, or
maybe it's
pelican, or
whatever your
I think that's perfect.
Whatever your favorite word is, and then you don't even that's super good, because then you don't even have to have dialogue about it. When they hit you with the magic word, you know the switch in your brain, and you can. It's almost like seeing your reflection. They're going to
exactly
what you're doing, Joanna. You're going to allow them to show you the mirror.
It's a good idea.
That's what I call that. People like you. In fact, if you have any sisters, I want them calling in. If you have relatives, I want them calling in. If you have anybody else that looks like you or sounds like you, I want you to have them call in, because we love people like you. Because what you're doing, you're allowing a trusted another person to show you the mirror. I call that mirror economics.
They can call it, they can give me a word saying, just a random word to tell me I'm showing my ugly face.
Well, it may not.
Listen, Joanna, you could say that. We won't.
Right, that's exactly. Well said.
It's well said, though.
Well said. And, so that's really good. So make it a word that blends, that you will remember, and make it consistent across all three accountability partners. It's the same word. And when you hear that word, you immediately take a quick look in the mirror and correct that. What's going to end up happening, these accountability partners are going to be on watch. You're going to be closer on guard and doing something about it. That goes back to the quote I said earlier about reading without reflection is like eating without digestion. If you take these accountability partners on and you don't reflect on what they're helping you with, then it's of no consequence. You can't be nourished from it.
Great. Well, I'm at work right now, so I'm going to go enlist somebody right now to be my partner here at work.
And I want you to follow up with us on this.
Yes,
we can't wait to
that?
get some feedback
We'd
on
love
this.
To
This is
hear.
good.
This is a good one.
I certainly will. Thank you so much, guys.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Wasn't that really good?
That's great. That's a good one.
Listeners, if
because
you're
sometimes you don't know.
What do you mean? Most of the time, almost all the time, you don't know because you cannot see yourself. Now, she knows that about herself, but even though she knows that about herself, she hasn't until this call done anything to stop it or to correct it or to amend it.
Well, what's great about her life is that she has people that care about her and say, "Hey, listen, this is what you're saying, but it looks this way." So that it's a great step, and obviously, those are people who she trusts because she called in for it.
But until she got on the laser coaching moment, what was she doing about it? She had the knowledge, but what was she doing about it?
Well, nothing.
Because she didn't know
what
to
do
about it.
It's true.
She probably didn't even realize that before the laser coaching moment opportunity that she could do something about it.
It's true.
So, in fact, callers, if you're out there listening and you want to call in, that number, again, the call-in number is 702-731-1230. That's 702-731-1230. And if you're calling in from another country like Canada, we get a lot of calls from Canada, from Vancouver and Toronto in that area, it'd be 1-866-820-5528. Again, that's 1-866-820-5528. This is going very well. These laser coaching moments, Bruno, about the reading, I can't imagine how many people that's going to have a positive effect on.
Yeah.
That's great. Joanna about having her face tell a different story than what's coming out of her mouth, which means she's not in alignment and people can tell.
Yeah.
She's playing nice, but her face is saying, I'm not digging you. That's even better as well. Because I was thinking some other words.
I know you are.
Yes, thank you for saving me. That's why
I'm keeping it radio friendly.
That's why Lisa Listen is appreciating Will Edwards co-hosting to keep me in line. I like it. That's very good. So let's get back to that conversation from the green room. So you say it starts with a question, and so then Jesse comes in and does this Jesse thing.
Yes.
And now next thing you know, you're on.
Boom, we're going at it. So here's what happened. So I'm sitting in there, and Jesse walks in and he does what he does, a hardest working man, so on and so forth. And so he sits down. And he says, "How much sleep do you get per night?" And I assume that he mentioned that because, he just thinks I stay up all hours of the night,
which is exactly what I was thinking.
just working and trying to figure out new things to do and how to do it and all of that good stuff. But I get an average of 7 to 8 hours sleep,
which is impeccable. I was shocked.
It's important.
It is, but and that's what we said. So let's just go into that conversation.
Yeah. Because I think that, here's what I think. I think that people believe if they are working through their sleeping hours, they're getting more done.
I was one of those people.
Really?
There was a time in my life where I was in corporate America at the time. I was getting an average of 2 hours sleep per night.
Stop it.
Night after night after night after night.
How did you live like that?
It wasn't pretty. And here's the sad part about all that. I didn't know that I wasn't okay.
Wow.
I had told myself that was enough to try to keep up with the demands of corporate America and keep the livelihood and keep the climbing the ladder. And I was goofier than a $2 bill.
I imagine you was a little miserable.
I wasn't miserable because I have a high threshold for that kind of a pain.
There you go.
So the pain didn't stop me.
Didn't stop you, but...
No, but I was delirious and I didn't even know it. And I had been told by people that are very, very close to me, are you on some drugs or something? Because nobody can live like this. And I thought they were the ones that were smoking something.
Wow.
I was the one. I was smoking my own crap is what it was.
Right.
And I was telling myself that 2 hours a night. I did this for probably 3 solid years.
Wow.
Imagine 2 hours a night.
Wow.
And
we need sleep.
Listen, it's
have to
part
have
of the
it.
restorative process. Here it is. If you don't have, this is what we're talking about in the green room.
Yes.
You cannot even finish a thought.
Right.
And it goes back to science again, hardwiring in science. You got the axons and the dendrites. The axons on one side is where it starts. It fires. There's a gap in the middle called the synaptic gap, and that synaptic gap is there for a reason. When you don't do things like getting the proper sleep, you're building up lactic acid and all kind of things that fill up that gap, so the gap's not clear.
Right.
So the initial thought can't fire across. The dendrite catches it and completes the thought.
That's what happens when you have enough sleep.
That's what happens when you have the proper rest.
Got it.
And
when you don't,
oh my gosh,
then what happens?
Well, what happens is you're in the middle of a thought and you don't forget about the thought. Sometimes you have to go, who am I here? Like you don't even know who you are, and so but you don't realize that that's not okay.
Yeah.
So people that work, there are a lot of people out there now working 2 and 3 jobs. I know people from MGM International that have 2 jobs. I know people from Apple that have 3 jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 full-time jobs.
Right.
And they're putting in a lot of hours, but what's happening to their lives?
I don't think you can be effective.
You can.
I don't think you can be 100% effective and productive if you're not getting enough sleep. And my thing was to you when you said that to me, I said, getting less sleep or no sleep at all, you're on the border of insanity.
And you said that, and I said that's pretty close, Will. But I believe, Will, that you've got one foot on the grave and the other one sliding in. You're not on anybody's border.
No.
Because you don't even know how goofy you are making yourself and the other people around you.
Exactly.
You don't even get it.
It's hard. It is difficult probably for your family, difficult for your friends. You probably don't even realize what you're saying or the things that you're doing.
You don't.
Because your body is just worn.
You're completely worn out, and you have to have the REM sleep.
Yeah.
That rapid eye movement.
Yeah.
You're not going to get, and that's where you get that real natural rest, that rest that's restorative. You cannot get that if you don't get the proper sleep.
Well, listen. So some people might say, Jesse, that this is what I need to do. I have to work these hours. I have to only get 3 hours or 4 hours of sleep. What do we say to that person?
I just ask a question. Since you're the architect of your own life, do you like shortening your lifespan this way?
There you go.
Because that's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. And it's just a matter of time before a fatal incident happens because you are not present.
Because at some point, there's going to be a breakdown.
Absolutely.
It's like having a car and you just drive it at like 90 miles an hour
and
every
no
single
fuel,
day. No
and
fuel,
no oil, no maintenance,
oil.
no checkup.
At some point,
it's going to be an implosion. An implosion is exactly what's going to, and it's an absolute certainty. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And you never know. You may take others out with you when you do that too. Because did you know that people driving tired in sleep is as phenomenally disastrous as people driving drunk?
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow. So I guess what we're saying, and it was an innocent conversation that the two of us were having, but I think that you really have to look at your life
and tell the truth about that.
And tell the truth.
And if what if you can't sleep? What if it's not a 2 or 3 job situation, but you're just worried and petrified and you have anxiety or whatever? Now what do? You tell me.
I think you call Jesse and Lisa.
Ooh, I like that. 702-541-6992.
And that's not a setup, but I think that if you can't figure it out on your own, you might need a professional coach or someone to just help you sort through it all.
Manage life matters.
Yeah,
and
just
determine
sort
what
through
matters
it.
most, and the rest of the stuff you get rid of.
Exactly.
Well said. And if for some reason you don't have the opportunity to give us a call, one way, and we won't go deep on it, but one way to help that before or even during, if you call a Jesse or Lisa, is meditation.
Yeah.
You likely won't be able to do quiet meditation because your mind is too crazy. There's too much going on.
Races.
But there's some extraordinary guided meditation out there. Dudley Evanson Meditation Moment is one of my all-time favorites.
Right.
And I can tell you, it will put you in a meditative state, and then you will pop off to sleep if, in fact, you can't shut your mind down yourself.
Sure.
So that's one cool. But that was really, that conversation was so innocent.
And I've had those issues. You know what I mean? I mean, my mind is always, I'm always looking for, some way to collaborate with someone, something to do. I met someone cool to create. So I'm always creating. So one of the things that I do to get myself to sleep, and this, it might sound bananas.
I can't wait to hear it.
It's similar to a meditation thing, but when I lay down to go to sleep, I paint my mind.
Oh, nice. Starting at the back, at the base,
I just paint it white.
Okay.
And I paint it, because what I'm trying to do is get rid of
blank slate,
all of that, and I just want it to go blank. So
Yes.
I'm not concentrating on anything.
Very nice.
I'm just in this room.
Very nice. That's really good.
And I have a tendency to fall asleep easier that way.
That's huge. That's huge. I like that. Whenever I go to a new program for another speaker or another coach or someone that's teaching, I never looked at it as painting my mind, but it is the same thing. I always say I go in with the blank slate.
Yes.
All the stuff that I know about all of this, I put that in a compartment.
Yeah.
I go there like a 3-year-old, and I behave as though I know nothing, and I don't put that already always listening mind to it where you're hearing because if you're hearing yourself, you're not hearing them.
Correct.
So I tell myself I don't know it all. I'm here to learn. And even if I only get one new nugget, that's the nugget I'm going to take.
So great.
Even if they say something I already know, I don't care.
Yeah.
I still listen like it's new.
I love it.
And I like what you did with that. So that's cool. This laser coaching stuff is really, really cool. I want to give you some follow-up from last week. We had some laser coaching moments. There was a caller by the name of Jill that called in, and Jill got some great strength from the laser coaching moment, so much so that she's taken what we talked about, and she had an issue with a family member that they were disconnecting, and weren't.
I remember that. Yeah.
Well, she actually now is set to be in our coaching studio along with that family member, and we're going to take it to the next level, which is creating an empowering conversation between the three of us, but mainly between the two of them.
That's great.
Isn't that good?
That is great.
That's some really good follow-up. And when we help people like this, I think of it like Norman Schwarzkopf said. He says that you can't help someone get up a hill without getting closer to the top yourself. And that's a lot about what coaching's about. That helps a lot. So that piece with Jill is going to be good. And then another person that called in was Danny. Danny had the issue where she was talking about a husband that was very social and liked to do sociable things.
Yes.
And she didn't mind it, but it was
she needed some time of her own.
Exactly.
Yes,
It was maybe too much for her. And so that has actually gone to another level. Speaking with Danny, afterwards, she told me that the house rules that we talked about, or we can also call it life agreements,
right?
If you're averse to rules, but I like house rules, but some folks want to call it life agreements. She's invoked that, and that's starting to get some traction in her relationship.
That's exciting.
So it's good to share some follow-up with that kind of stuff, don't you think?
I think so. I think it's good. I mean, we give it, but we might say you should do this or this or this, or this might work for you. But, it's the caller who has to take that and put it to work.
They've got to take the action, and so that's true. I have another situation when shares a coaching moment. It wasn't laser. It was through our traditional success coaching.
Sure.
And this was a mother-daughter team out of London, England, actually. And they hadn't spoken to each other. It was just about ready to hit the 4-year mark.
Wow.
They were so angry and upset with one another and thinking each one thought it was the other person's fault.
Of course.
Whatever. So they were not talking. They brought us in, and even from Las Vegas through telephone coaching, what we call virtual sessions, it was really remarkable because the daughter had a husband that was on the verge of death. And the mother did not want to have her go through that and have her not be able to support, but they weren't talking.
Right.
And she said, the mother says, if you could just get me in that church, I will be indebted to you for life. I said, I can't promise you that I'll get you into that church, but I'll promise you I can help you two have a conversation.
It's great. That's great.
And it took.
How long did it take you though?
It was a total of 3 sessions with the daughter.
Okay.
And 2 sessions with the mother.
Okay.
The 6th session, I brought us all together on one call, and I can tell you the tension on that call was extraordinary.
Wow.
But they talked for the first time
Nice.
in almost 4 years. Wow. It was more tears than words, but what do you think, Will, was the defining piece that helped them have that conversation?
Oh man, that's a good. I have no idea, but I mean, I imagine that somewhere in there the truth had to come out, and there was probably a misunderstanding.
You nailed
somewhere.
it, right? You said I didn't know, and you nailed it. What provided it was me creating a safe place to come and tell the truth.
Nice.
That's really
important.
what I had to create, and it was very difficult because I was also it was something more than coaching.
Right.
I was also the moderator. I was also the facilitator. Like, I called each of them and got them on the line because they wouldn't call each other.
Right.
No, it was really a battle. By the way, the son-in-law actually did pass away, and I got the most beautiful letter from the mother after he passed, thanking me for helping her to be sitting in the front row of that service.
Nice. It's important.
That is huge.
It's huge. It is important. And sometimes we, here's what I am getting from this, right? Because every time, and I know people at home think, they're on the radio, they're just having some fun, they're just chit-chatting, but every time I walk into the studio and do this, I learn something.
It's huge.
I learn something every single time, and it might be a reflection on a situation that I had before, that, maybe I did it incorrectly, I could have done it that way, or whatever it is. But what I get from you and from Lisa, which is very cool, is that sometimes we get into situations and the space just isn't safe.
It's very true. Talk to me about that. The space isn't safe. Then what typically happens when that happens?
Well, because if it's a husband and wife deal, they're going to probably have it out at home where they're comfortable.
They're going to have it out at home, but that doesn't mean they're going to really have a conversation.
Of course not.
Or that they're going to communicate effectively.
Of course not. Of course not. So I think that what you guys are doing, in fact, and I think what we're doing with the Laser Coaching Moments is basically giving people opportunities.
It is.
Opportunities to be honest, to be truthful, to be sharing with one another. I think that is, it's vital and it's important.
I totally agree with you, and it's about people.
Yeah.
These folks were from London, England.
Yeah.
Whole different society, whole different culture, but people are people.
It's true.
And I said this before on our show before, and I learned this from a South African. I want you to get a picture. The beautiful blonde with blue eyes. She's probably she looks like she's in her early 40s, but she's probably in her early 60s. She's a yoga instructor, and her name is Kathy.
Okay.
Kathy Daly. And she taught us this when we were in when we got back from South Africa. To my point about people are people, umuntu ingamuntu ingabantu. That's South African for a person is a person because of other people.
Nice.
They say that there.
Nice.
And that's how I think about this mother and daughter team in London, and how we were able to, because of another person, create a safe place, create a partnership and a safe place to tell the truth. And now they talk to each other every day.
Love it.
That's huge.
It is huge. I love it.
So that was a share that I wanted to bring to the table. And then there's another share I wanted to bring to the table, that we do these things that we call awakenings, which is that's a coaching process where it could be a full day or 2 days or 3 days where we spend the entire time with a client.
Oh, wow.
And I have an awakening piece I want to share with you, some results. On this one, it says, what were your top 3 points of the awakening forum? And Lisa does these as well. I decided to have the awakening so that I could focus on defining my life purpose. That's big.
That is it.
I have several talents, and I wanted help choosing the one that would be my main focus. Since we had designated time for the awakening, I decided to lay out each possibility in a PowerPoint presentation and present the possibilities and the positives and the negatives of each during the awakening. While sharing this with Jesse, the talent that struck me the strongest chord was my book project. As I saw him react to my presentation it confirmed that this was something that I was meant to do. See, that's what happens in places like that.
Yes.
And then this person goes on to say, during a break in the structured portion of the awakening, we had sushi and discussed my recent breakup with a man I have been involved with for 10 years. I was struggling with letting go or giving up or ending the relationship. Jesse guided me through a role-playing exercise and helped me realize that my relationship and love for this man was always going to be with me, that the thought of letting go or giving up was contradictory to the truth that the love will always be there. Truth again, right?
Yes.
That word keeps coming up, right?
It's important.
It's way important.
That's all I'm saying, people.
See, he assisted me in seeing that we are both on the same track, but just heading in different directions in our life.
Interesting.
That was huge. And then on this particular one, let's see here.
Let me ask you a question before you read that.
Do it.
Why is it so hard for us to tell the truth about things? And I don't mean like
That's really good.
I don't mean like, oh, I took a cookie and I didn't tell my wife I took a cookie, but like the truth about ourselves, what's happening, what's going on within us. Why is it so hard?
That's a big question. I think one of the biggest reasons is fear. I think that, and I know it's a tired acronym. Some folks have heard it. A lot of folks have, many haven't. False expectations appearing real.
Wow.
I think we're afraid of the thing that we know not. And so we don't know the outcome. We can't predict the outcome. We're like-for-like creatures. We like to know how things are. We're difficult to change and even more difficult to transform. The reason why we like to know how things are, we like to keep it how it is, even if it's broken. Because at least we know.
Right.
But and
we still have it.
Right. We still have that. The uncertainty of not being able to resolve it is scarier than living with the broke.
Wow.
In fact, in my neighborhood, they call
That's
that a
good.
broke want to.
Yeah. That's good.
Most people have a broke want to.
Wow.
They don't want to do it because their want to is broken. They're afraid.
Wow.
That's what holds most people back.
It's
is the
hard.
fear. It is hard. You know what? It's hard. It is, but it's really simple. And the way I put it, simple, not easy.
I'm having an emotional breakdown right now on the radio because that is so great. Holy cow. Say it again, please. Say it again.
It's
please.
hard, but truly it's simple, not easy.
Wow.
Replace hard with simple, not easy. That is what gets you off the track.
I'm just having a learning moment right now. This is a learning moment for me.
And I've seen this over tens of thousands of lives that have crossed through my fingers. Over the last 36 years of doing what I do, I've had tens of thousands of lives, meaning the intimate details of people's lives, run through my fingers. And Lisa, over her 35 years, has had the same as well. And so I'm telling you, Will, I see this over and over again.
I used to work for an organization that gave you a definition for an operational machine.
Right.
And an operational machine is one that does what it's supposed to do without it being jerry-rigged or things of that nature.
Okay.
So although the printer may be printing, maybe it's not printing magenta.
Right.
So it is not an operational machine. And I think we can look at that with our lives as well. If something is broken, this relationship isn't operational.
Absolutely, and never will be until you put the time and attention and create the environment to be able to tell the truth about how it is before the repair can even start.
Wow.
Absolutely right on the money. Completely nailed it.
Holy smokes.
Yes, that would. If you were in the Olympics, which I know you with your trim, slim self, you could be. If you were on the balance beam, that would have been a 10 on the balance beam.
Wow. The truth.
The truth.
It's simple.
And I know, here's another tired one. The truth will always set you free. That doesn't mean it's not going to come with some level of pain.
That's true.
See, a lot of times we want to avoid the pain. That's another thing. Even if we know what it is, we're not afraid. Maybe it's the pain that we don't want.
And we're not. And you're not saying. from what I'm hearing, because I'm going through a learning thing right now as I listen to you talk and as I'm talking to you, but you're not saying get rid of the printer.
No.
Right? You could.
Correct.
It is an option.
Correct.
But you're saying tell the truth. It's not printing magenta.
Correct. Which means whatever the program that you are putting out is obscure, because that color being missing from it is going to create a sort of a haze.
Hazy.
Yes, exactly. So people live with that haze over their lives all the time, and all they have to do is get with self and practice mirror economics and tell the truth.
Wow.
Or even allow someone else to show you the mirror as well.
So it's either fix it or replace it.
It's
to some degree.
First is awareness.
Awareness, good.
Then it is strategy.
Okay.
Then it is fix it or replace it.
I am so excited about what I'm hearing. I'm going to turn this desk over. I'm just going to flip it right now.
You flip it over.
If it wasn't so heavy, I'd flip this desk
No,
right
that's
now.
good. That's really good. But that brings us back to the closing of this lady on this awakening. This was actually Carrie Boyd on this awakening, and she says this: what would you improve about the forum, the awakening forum? She says, we started at 8 a.m. and focused on every aspect of my life: career, relationship, health, spirituality, gifts, and talents, and ended at 9 p.m. after enjoying a celebration of my awakening dinner. There is no way that I could improve on my awakening.
Nice.
She got it. So that's exactly what you're talking about there, Will. This whole, finding a safe place to tell the truth is bigger than the statement.
Yes.
I mean, so many people can be helped by that. Even if they picked a confidant, if they could not get to a life coach or something impeded that, they picked a really safe confidant that they could really tell it like it is would be of value as well.
Right.
So in the last 3 minutes or so of our program here, we do want to do another shout out to Lisa Lisson, who is out on assignment, special assignment, taking care of matters as she does, respecting what matters most. So let's give a round of applause for her and her venue, listening, as I know she will be.
And we kept your seat open again, Lisa.
We kept her seat open, and we want to
important.
give a round of applause to my co-host, Will Edwards,
Thank
who's
you,
been
sir.
outstanding. Not only is he a great co-host, he's an excellent coachee too. I didn't know I was going to end up coaching the boy on the radio, but that's all good.
Well, I think we need to give you a round of applause.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
you just changed me. And you're changing some lives, and you're helping people, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about.
And that leaves me with a feeling from the book How You Leave Them Feeling. We're going to go out with some James Brown. I got a feeling. I think that's a good way for us to go out.
I love
you
it.
listeners out there, thank you for the folks that call in for the laser coaching moments, and thank you for all those listeners that are out there listening to us. Tune into the Will Edwards Show. Tell them real quick, Will, where it's at.
Tune in late night Thursdays, 1 a.m. MyLV TV, Cox Channel 12, Direct TV Channel 21.
Nice. And we here at Let's Just Talk Radio will be back next week with another show of laser coaching moments, and co-host Will Edwards and Lisa Lisson will be in the studio.
Woo!
Got a feeling.